All right, I think we'll get underway. Um, Welcome, everyone. Very excited to be with you again this week. It's our third week, Dylan. So some exciting tours to talk to you about today. And of course, it's all about Ireland today. And what I'll do now is I will hand it over to Dylan to take us away, have a look at the Backroads touring portion around Ireland. A couple of great tours that Backroads tours have got for us. And then, of course, I will come out at the end and have a chat to you about the beautiful luxury barge that we have on the River Shannon. So I'll leave it up to you, Dylan.
Thank you very much, Walter. And thank you again for everyone who's joining us today. We know it's your personal time and we appreciate that you are finding the time to listen to Walter and I jibber jabber about our wonderful products. And once again, I'm in awe of what Walter has created here in regards to his unique cruising packages and privileged to be a part of it. So I'll take you through the Backroads components today and we'll finish off saving the best till last with Walter showing off his ever popular barge cruising through Ireland today. So for many of you, this will be your third visit to us. So again, thank you very much. For the people who are joining for the first time today, welcome. This is a big week for Ireland. It's obviously the Ireland Virtual Trade Show as well. So it's fortuitous timing and completely unplanned. But hopefully you guys are all 100% immersed in the Ireland product and ready to explore when the gates open up. But for us at Backroads, Ireland is always in our top 3 sold tours. It's a destination where the smaller vehicle affords us some unique advantages. So I am over the moon to share this with you all today and humbled that Walter saw the possibility for your clients again with his wonderful barges. Without further ado, let's get this show on the road. We have 2 unique journeys to offer to you today. So grab a cuppa or a Guinness and relax. Now, the Ireland in Depth is our first introduction to our discussion today. A truly well-curated piece, harnessing the beauty that the southern parts of Ireland offer in partnership with the Shannon Princess. Let's see what it's all about. Now, our vehicle is what makes your experience unique. The ability to traverse cities and towns in the same fashion as a car has its advantages. It gives us the ability to show you the heart of a region without spending hours and hours on Highway 1. Now, I'm sure there's a few of you thinking, I surely couldn't do hours of driving in that type of vehicle. Well, to help anyone else blessed with height, we are only traveling at a maximum of an hour and a half at a time. And with our 2 and 1 seat setups, means if you need your legs fully out, well, you can. And secondly, our amazing local tour leaders. These knowledgeable people are all unique with a plethora of knowledge and stories to share. Some of the best stories I hear are when your clients share personal details with our leaders and somehow they incorporate it into what you perceived already as an ideal manifest. With an abundance of free time, these are your links to maximizing your adventure. Whether you are a walker, photographer, or like me, a gastro-tourist, our tour leaders are there ready to make your days even better. Is this starting to sound a little familiar? Now, for all of you that have been tuning in week on week, thank you again. But for those that are new, the biggest change to the Backroads product since the world flipped itself on its head is day 1 is now a welcome day. So today we arrive at the Ivy Garden Hotel by 5 p.m, check in and enjoy a welcome dinner with your ever so Irish tour leader. The Ivy Garden is in a great location. Obviously, Ivy Gardens, but as well Dublin Castle. I would suggest adding a few days onto Dublin. It's a city that really needs to be embraced. Now we've slept, we've rested, we've had a fantastic breakfast and it's day 2. Let's head off on this wonderful journey. Today we are heading off westbound towards the towns of Kildare and Ennis. Whilst in Kildare, we have a truly unique stop at the Irish National Stud. And no, Walter and I won't be there, but instead have some of Ireland's finest horses and trainers. You'll be treated to a private tour as well, Back on board our sprinter, we continue on to your next stop being the gardens and grounds of Greer Castle Domain. These gardens are famous for their engineering feats and also unique and rare flora. Take some time to see as much as you can. To finish off, we make our way to Ennis to relax for the rest of our day. As we take off on day 3, you'll be taken on an orientation tour of the town of Ennis, a town where you'll learn all about some enthralling myths, mysteries, and tales of rebellion and riots. But the picture on the screen is a dead giveaway to our next highlight visit for the day at the Cliffs of Moher. There is so much to be taken into that, but make sure you have space on your camera and perhaps a good lens, as you may be spoilt with the sighting of some of these cute little puffins. I would recommend, if you know your clients well, to suggest packing some binoculars or a decent lens to see and perhaps capture this ever so cute bird. This personally would be a highlight piece for me on this trip. Off we go. There's more to be explored, and we will continue on to cross the Shannon Estuary, which is the gateway to the River Shannon, and maybe a little bit more later on for you all guys, to head out to our next stop at Catherine House for 2 nights. And I love this little cute joint. It's beautiful. Dinner will be shared together on our first night here to reconnect and refuel for the next series of adventures ahead. Now, Killarney is such a beautiful location, but it acts as the gateway for our next day's Irish immersion. We take off on what is quite an easy drive today around the Ring of Kerry, making a wonderful stop at the Skellig experience, where Christian monks once broke bread at the monastery. An absolute treat is next for you all, where you are introduced to a simply amazing, and I've seen the video from one of my teammates, of a traditional Irish music dance at the Celtic Steps concert. This is fantastic. This is sort of river dance, but right up close and personal, in a much smaller production. It is divine. Get involved. Today is a little bit special, as we are taken back into the history of Ireland, and a traditional Irish family doing what they can to look after their family back in the day. Introducing to you all Molly Gallivan's cottage. Molly made ends meet by bootlegging whiskey to the local folks. So much to learn, but I'll leave that to our tour leaders to share in greater detail to your curious customers. Off to the colourful little town of Kinsale to welcome us again for a 2-night stay. A walking tour of Kinsale starts off our day, so may have a little extra breakfast. A local guide will lead you around and share with you as many stories and all of the history of this bayside town. The rest of the day is yours. Now, how do you find the best ways to maximise your day? That's right, your tour leader, and maybe that local guide if you can. Kinsale is recognised as the gourmet capital of Ireland. So for any of those gastro tourists tune in, like myself, I'm sure this will be a wonderful day to explore or relax, your choice. From walking and eating in Kinsale, we pack up and get ready for what I'm sure is a bucket list point for a few of your guests. From Kinsale, we track east and make our first stop in Cork, which is the city that the last 123 passengers boarded the infamous Titanic. There is evidence listed around the town to learn more. Now, to wrap this day up, we finish our day in Waterford, touted as one of Ireland's oldest cities, dating back to Viking times. Also, you'll gain a fascinating insight into how the world-renowned crystal is actually made. It's our final tour night pre-cruise, so a farewell dinner is to be celebrated by all. And a big welcome back to the Ivy Gardens Hotel in Dublin. Ends the backroads portion of this particular tour. But rest up as you'll be greeted by your next adventure in the morning for 7 days of bliss on the Shannon River Princess. Well, I hope you enjoyed your first taste of Ireland. But without further ado, I introduce you to the Ulster of Ireland, Now, this is a crack of a tour. This tour will provide you a true well-rounded exploration of all that Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland have to offer. From north to south, east to west, this tour is just simply, well, the ultimate. I'll continue. Again, we welcome you to the Ivy Garden Hotel in Dublin as your welcome evening. Again, a city I would add more days onto if you can, because it just has so much going on. But let's get back to your tour. Enjoy your welcome dinner with the tour leader and get yourself rested. This is going to be an amazing adventure. Now, at leisurely time, around about 8:30, we'll take off raring to go. Today, we head northbound and make our way towards Belfast. En route, making some stops to keep the journey leisurely. On the way, we'll make a visit to the Battle of Boyne Visitor Centre. And then a personal highlight of mine, bit of a cruise nerd here, a visit to the Titanic Museum. And that was just day 2. The night is yours to acquaint yourself with Belfast, so please enjoy. In the morning, we will be taken around and learning all about Belfast in these amazing black cabs. Who better to tell you about the tales of the city than someone who lives it and breathes it daily? So many political murals to gain understanding of. We do have a lunch included today. And post this, we'll head up north to the wondrous Giants Causeway. This will be an absolute bucket list point for many of your customers. Get your cameras out. Oh my God, 1, 2, 3, and wow. From here, we will make our way down to Londonderry for 2 nights to savor all that we've enjoyed thus far on this journey. After a tour of Londonderry, exploring the old city walls, we make our way along the Wild Atlantic Way to the Isle of Dover. We'll take the time to learn about the great famine history at the aptly named Famine Village and Visitor Centre. Free time awaits you in Londonderry to finish your day, be active, see more, or just relax. Now it's time to make our way south and round out this wonderful country and absorb some more. En route to Roscommon, we'll make a visit to the Ulster American Folk Park to learn why so many Irish fled to start a life in the New World. And did you know the USA still has the most people of Irish descent living outside of Ireland today, whereas Australia has the highest percentage of Irish population per rata? Bit of Irish trivia 101 for you today. Another stop for your customers at the Bel Pottery Centre, which is, if you weren't aware, one of Ireland's oldest working fine china pottery centres. Can anyone tell me what the significance of this castle is? I welcome you to Kilronan Castle, where you'll call home and enjoy a well-deserved and well-desired dinner tonight. I love this place. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, I know we didn't want to pack up, but there is so much to see and we don't want to disappoint. So we make our way down to Galway. En route, making a stop at the homestead of Dan O'Hara. And if anyone could hear the music at the start, that was the ballad to Dan O'Hara playing. Onwards, we continue to the harbour city, where tonight is yours at leisure. 2 nights, so grab some tips from your TL to save some time and maximise the flavour of this town. Whilst here, you'll be also provided an orientation tour to capture the icons like the Spanish Arch, Galway Cathedral, and Eyre Square. The rest of your day is at leisure to get amongst this town to absorb its bohemian feels and vibes. Now, being in Galway affords us one of the island's grandest treasures, and today we'll get a chance to tick it off our bucket lists. Welcome the Cliffs of Moher. As aforementioned, these are some true wonders here and with all the effort in preparing for. Post this delightful stop, we continue to Dingle for 2 nights in this little coastal town, famous for their Dingle dolphins. It's been a big day. Let's all convene for dinner together, compare our thoughts and photos of the day. On our second day here, become acquainted with the town and see one of its famous landmarks, the Gallerist Oratory, which is actually a stone chapel which resembles an upturned boat. It's kind of cute. A bit more sightseeing is planned before you leave for the afternoon to enjoy, walk, sleep, or relax. Whatever you like. Free time is grand. Leaving Dingle and knowing we're almost ending our trip, we start to get excited about the second phase of the unique cruises. But before we get too far ahead, we make our way back onto our sprinter on the route to Cork. En route, stopping to take views over the lakes of Kilkenny, which is that beautiful shot I'm giving you in on the screen right now. Looking forward to see some wonderful photos from all of your customers here. Off we go back to visit Kenmare, the head of the seas, where we then have an appointment to keep at the Blarney Castle. Now, I'll leave the kissing of the stone as an optional, although at Backroads, we don't actually have any optional tours on our tours. But it's your choice to give it a kiss if you wish. The town of Cork beckons us, so let us all have a sumptuous dinner together and rest up to take in our tour of Cork. Loving these 2-night stays. A visit to Kinsale is on the agenda today. Such a quaint little port town with a very laid-back atmosphere. Sort of like Walter and I, really. As we turn around to head back, we'll make a quick stop at, I guess you have to, don't you, the Giants Distillery, where we will have a tour, and if you are all well behaved, a tasting to refresh our day. A very, very, very easy drive back to Cork completes our days. Maybe a few snores, who knows? We pack up from our last stop before we make our way back to Dublin. From Cork, we head north to the town of Kilkenny, a fantastic beer. Oh, I digress. A wonderful town, touted as one of Ireland's most perfect medieval towns. Tonight, we get the team back together to celebrate with our tour leader for the final supper, before we hand you over to the next unique part of your journey with Walter. What has been an ultimate journey of the Emerald Isle is about to get a lot more relaxing and leisurely, and to add something to this, I will hand over to the man about the barges, Walter. Let's jump on board the Shannon Princess.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dylan. Let me just bring up my screen here. How amazing is that? Just bear with me 1 second. Sorry, just had a bit of a technical glitch here. I will just, sorry folks. There we go. I think that's a bit better. Now that Dylan and I are back hitting the mean streets of Dublin. Right.
It's the place to be, guys.
Hope you enjoyed that, because that's just two fantastic choices to be able to travel around in a small group around just this magnificent part of the world. What I'll take you through now, of course, is on board our ship, the luxury hotel barge, the Shannon Princess. Now, for those of you that have not joined us for the last couple of weeks, I'll just give a review of Unique Cruises and where we actually have our luxury hotel barges. We do cover 5 countries across 12 regions. Most of our luxury hotel barges are actually located in France, but we do have 2 barges located in Scotland, 1 in Ireland, which we'll go through today, of course, 1 in London, and 1 in Italy. And we'll be talking about the Italy barge next week, along with a fabulous Backroads tour. For those of you that are very familiar with the luxury river cruise concept, you'll know that they travel on the major rivers. And of course, there are no luxury river cruises that cruise down the River Shannon apart from the small barges. So very excited to bring that to you. But as an overview, on the main rivers, on the Moselle, on the Saône, the Rhône, the Danube, the Rhine, and the Seine, those ships are anywhere between 110 to 135 meters long and have anywhere between 120 to 160 passengers. Whereas with the luxury hotel barges, they're very small. So the smallest one we have on our fleet has only 2 rooms, so a maximum of 4 passengers. So perfect for that those 2 couples that just want to get away together. The largest one, which we'll be talking about next week, actually, is 10 suites, 20 passengers out of Italy. and we'll go through that next week. But on average, only 4 rooms, so maximum of 8 passengers. All the luxury hotel barges are all inclusive, and so that means all your meals are included, all your excursions, your transfers, your beverages, which do include the premium beers, wines, and spirits. And most of the barges do have bicycles on board, as well as most of them have hot tubs as well. Just to give you an idea, we do have 4 different levels of luxury hotel barges. So we've got our first class, our deluxe, our ultra deluxe, and our grandiose. So depending on what your client's needs are, we certainly have something for everyone. One of the terms that I've come up with is this luxury barge bubble, because as we start making our plans now to be able to explore the world, we are still very conscious of being safe. And one of the things that I love about these luxury hotel barges is because of their size, we can put ourselves into a little bubble. Your clients can charter the whole barge and just have that exclusively to themselves, which is really what I'm recommending at this point. And the great thing about back roads is that you can have a full charter on back roads and combine up with the barges. So again, great options. So just give you a quick rundown on what we mean by the luxury barge bubble. As we talked about, there's small passenger numbers. They are open to private charter. As I said, that's what we really are focusing on. We also do cruise through more rural and less populated areas, which is definitely a bonus. And another big thing is that we don't hop on board coaches that have a lot of other people on board. We do have a dedicated vehicle. I'll show you an example a little bit later. And this is exclusive for that particular barge. So again, keeping it all together in-house. Excursions, mostly to outdoor locations and mostly to private chateaus, wineries, and so on. The ships themselves, because they're so small, they do get this full deep clean between cruises. And if you're not familiar with luxury hotel barging in Europe and the UK and Ireland, basically what happens is that every single barge, it doesn't matter which itinerary, which barge, we all start on a Sunday afternoon and we conclude our cruise the following Saturday morning. So what this means is that the staff have a lot of time to go through and do a thorough deep clean before new guests come on board. Of course, there'll be continual cleaning throughout the cruise, and there is no air circulated between the cabins. This is a question I get asked a lot, and just to reassure you that they are individual air cons in each room, and they all have HEPA filters. No buffets on board. All the food and beverages are served by the staff. And as you would expect, there is sanitizer stations located around each of the barges, and particularly when we are embarking or disembarking. All the crew on every single barge have gone through extended COVID-safe training, and we also have all English-speaking crew, no matter where we are. Also, too, a question I get asked a lot, because they are small vessels, is about the doctors, and we are always close to English-speaking. And in the case of Ireland, of course, it is English, and we might need to have a bit of a translator sometimes to make sure that we have the doctor on call and we are never too far away from anywhere. So let's get on with having a look on board the beautiful Shannon Princess as we cruise down the magnificent Shannon River. Just to give you an overview of the vessel itself, as you can see there, she is a deluxe ship, so maximum of 10 passengers, so only 5 rooms. And along with that, we have 5 crew. I'll talk about the crew in a little bit as well. But you can see there, we've got our sun deck at the top there with the hot tub, and all the rooms are located on the next level down, along with the dining area. There is a dining area upstairs, so we can, if the weather's not great, we can eat inside, or if it's fantastic, we can just sit outside and enjoy our surroundings. To give you an idea of the itinerary, it is only about an hour and a half to get from Dublin through to the start of the cruise. And at the end of the cruise, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get back to Dublin. The cruise itself, if we were to drive it, so looking at that red line, if we were to drive down through there, we're only looking at about an hour and a half, an hour, 45-minute drive. So we don't travel a huge distance on any of the luxury hotel barge cruises, but we do get to see a lot of things and get to experience the local culture as well. So let's have a look around the ship a little bit more. As most of you will know, my favorite place on board any ship is in the hot tub. So always start off with that shot. Imagine just being able to sit there and just relax and take in the countryside, the atmosphere, the ambiance of where we are, and of course your crew's on hand. So if you need that beverage to help you relax a little bit more, then feel free to just ask the crew. It is all included, of course. Stepping down inside to the dining room and lounge area. As you can see, just got a couple of shots in there, very spacious. And as I've said to a number of you that I've spoken to independently, one of the things that struck me with luxury hotel barging when I first looked into this was that I have been constantly amazed at just how much room there is on these small vessels. You do not feel like you're closed in. I am super claustrophobic. And I think that is really one of the things that struck me so much, is that even with my claustrophobia, I felt like there was so much space and you could go out and relax and fully enjoy your holiday. Coming in to have a look at one of the rooms, again, this is not what I would have expected on these small ships, but certainly a lot of space there and you don't feel hemmed in. Just a shot there of the twin bed configuration, as you can see. And of course, just a shot of the bathroom. So you can see we're not really squashed in the bathroom. There is space to move around. Just a shot of the hallway there. So all the rooms are aligned on one side of that hallway. And then as we come through that back door is one of the stairways to take us up onto the sky deck. So let's have a little look around where we are cruising down the River Shannon and some of the sites that we'll see along the way. So as we come through, this is one of the places that we start actually on the inner lakes of Loughreen, and we'll continue north and explore. I think there's 365 islands around the lake, and we get the chance to go through and explore. So just imagine waking up in the morning and seeing this. That's just, what a great way to start the day. One of the highlights, of course, is going out through to the Whiskey Distillery. This particular one dates back from 1757, I believe, and is the oldest licensed whiskey distillery in the world. And of course, when we come to visit, there's only 10 of us, right, in our little group. So we do get a fantastic tour around through the distillery that really you can't get when you're doing any of the other bigger tours. Castles, castles, castles. Of course, we are in Ireland, so much history, so many things to see. So we do go and have a look at some of the ruins as well. And as we come through, one of the highlights, another highlight I should say, is that we actually joined the captain for a bit of a pint in one of the local pubs, and we have spent an evening with the locals as well. So again, just making sure that we do mix things up. It's not about being on board the ship, it's about going out and exploring, getting in touch, and really understanding what Ireland is all about. We go through lots of locks, and if you've seen the other presentations, we do go through some tunnels and so on when we're in France. One of the highlights here is actually coming through and waiting for the swing bridge to open for us as we come through. Again, if your clients are wanting to get out and go for a cycle, they can go through and cycle around a lot of the areas that we travel through, or they can stay on board and just enjoy cruising through from one area to another. Another highlight is coming through to Greer Castle, which is still in residence. The name just escapes me right now, but you can see the beautiful gardens, and they have a fantastic science centre there as well with a great telescope. Now this one here is of particular delight, the Adair Manor, and we do come here, again, our small group, only 10 of us coming in to visit this castle and having a look around, but definitely one of the highlights is getting a lesson in falconry, and yeah, that's just a very special and very unique experience. On all of the barges, and like on a lot of general cruising, the captain's dinner is always something to look forward to, and this is on the last night before we make our way back to Dublin, and it is really just a highlight. But again, there's only 10 of us as a crew, and by the time we get to the end of our 6 nights of cruising, everyone knows each other. You know the crew so well. You are part of the family, and you can sit down and share this meal. It's just a great way to end our cruise. I threw this slide in here just because I think it's just shows some of the scenery as we go past. It's just almost sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but really as we're cruising past all these little historical monuments that are just there for us to see and explore and really just take in all that is Ireland. I always get a bit wound up when I start talking about Ireland and Scotland as well, but Ireland particularly because there is just so much to see, and they're just so much fun. The Irish people, as you know, really bring you in and welcome you. Now, just to give a summary on what we're looking at, those are the two tours that you see on the left there that Dylan took us through, so we can go all the way up through Northern Ireland. Just an incredible trip, and such contrast between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. And also too, we've got the second choice there of starting and ending in Dublin and doing just the Republic of Ireland. And both of those connect in with the Shannon Princess. Now, depending on the dates and which itinerary you're choosing and so on, there may be a day or two gap in between the tour and when the cruise starts, but we'll take care of all that for you. I just sit down and work out with you exactly what your clients are looking for, and we will piece it all together in one, put the puzzle together in one piece so that it makes it nice and simple and seamless for your clients. They don't have to worry about anything. Now, all 8 of the tours that we have with Unique Cruises combined with Backroads Touring are available on the website, on the Unique Cruises website. We have standard flyers for each one of those 8 itineraries. So feel free to jump in and have a look at those. And before you ask the question, the website is www.uniquecruises.com.au. You can email me, ask any questions that you like, or give me a call on my mobile. Happy to have a chat with you. I have spoken to a number of you over the last couple of weeks and starting to piece some things together for 2022 and 2023. And I would just like to say that for those of you that are looking at moving forward, and I'm assuming that you're on this call because that's where your mindset is at now, and trying to get past the lockdowns that we've had and get excited about getting your clients overseas again. One of the things to really bear in mind is that the Europeans, the Americans, and a lot of the other countries are already starting to book their travel. In fact, a lot of them are already traveling, as we know. But for 2022 and 2023, if you are not starting to look at booking your clients in now, we'll run out of space. As you can see, we've got one ship in Ireland on the River Shannon that will sell out for 22. We're already taking bookings for 23. In France, we have a lot more options, but we still are getting a lot of bookings coming through. And don't forget that in France in 2023, it is the Rugby World Cup. So something to be aware of, that is going to be very busy over that period. And we have some barge options available for that as well. But please have a chat to your clients, have a chat to myself, have a chat to Dylan, and we'd love to be able to piece this all together for you. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now, and we'll open up. And if you have any questions, then please feel free to put that in the chat so that we can have we can answer those questions for you. I hope you've enjoyed that, because as I said, I get a bit excited when I start talking about Ireland, and the Irish people are just so fantastic and they're so welcoming, and we have so much fun. And Dylan, have you got anything else that you'd like to add to that? You're on mute, mate.
Yes, just pressing my button. Rookie at this Zoom thing, guys. It's one of those destinations we know Australians sort of long for. I mean, Scotland and Ireland continually, with our VFR market, has a big emotional pull to bring people back into. So it's a great opportunity. It's something different. Obviously, for many of you guys, there'll be more Ireland tonight. So if you've got any follow-up questions from the Backroads portion and you are chatting with me this afternoon or tomorrow afternoon, please feel free again. But yeah, whatever Walter and I can do to make the understanding better for you, easier for you, or for your customers, obviously, ultimately, please feel free to connect with us. I mean, this is the time where we have the time to be able to really have those deep dives with your guys. So where we can be of assistance, please sing out.
Perfect. I just have the question here from Kim: how flexible on terms and deposits. I'll let you answer that first from Backroads, if you don't mind, Dylan.
Yeah, so no problems at all. In correlation to, we've got till 60 days prior to departure for us. So you have a deposit, which is non-refundable, as always has been as part of contract. But the rest of the package, fully refundable if you had paid in full. But you've got ample time between now and that to sort of make adjustments, and there's unlimited changes that can be made at no extra cost for your customers. So that's never too hard. However, if they are cancelling due to COVID conditions or rulings based on country, or they've contracted COVID themselves, they can get a full cancellation refund. No problems at all, no questions asked. We just ask for the proof that COVID was the reason, and all their money is returned.
Fantastic. And that's very similar with the luxury barges as well. We work with a couple of different operators, so depending on which one we're working with, there are slight differences in the rules, but we can talk through that on an individual basis. But honestly, everyone is being so flexible at the moment, and just wanting to make sure that we can get Australians. I've been having a chat with some of the European operators over the last couple of weeks, and their caution is, as I said before, the barges are getting booked up, and they're trying to be as flexible as they can with Australians, because they know, and New Zealanders, because they know our situation down here, and really would like us to come up and experience the product and get your clients up there. So yeah, it's great flexibility. Just have a quick look for any more questions. Now, as I said earlier, if you do want to talk about this a bit further, there's lots of options available. So please just get in contact with me, and I will sit down with you on a one-on-one, and we can work out some strategies. I've had people asking about golf tours, golf cruising, working on a couple of those at the moment, as well as the Rugby World Cup, working on some options on those through Keith Prowse Travel. So just a shout out to them. But also too, I just want to make sure that when we are talking about Ireland and Scotland, they are two of the big hitters for Backroads touring. And you can book just the Backroads tour, you can book just the barge, but when we look at these combinations, they are just so fantastic. I don't know why you wouldn't combine the two and go with it. So on that note, I can't see any more questions coming through. There's lots of great comments. Thank you everyone so much for joining in. We know that your time is valuable, and we do appreciate it. And the recording will be available. We'll send that out through probably tomorrow morning. Any final words there, Dylan?
No, all is good. Thank you very much again, Walter. We've got through 3. We've got one more to go. We do have Italy next week. So for those faithful, we look forward to chatting to you guys on Tuesday. And from everyone at Backroads, have a fantastic day. And we look forward to working with all your businesses soon.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.